I greet you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. Event is coming soon. YouTube channel. Here's the latest intel.
Malawi update for March 25th, 2017. The subject is Kayasan Mancholo. This month I would like to highlight someone very brave. He began life with his mother dying when he was just a toddler. His father also died when he was 12 years old. He became an orphan and was eventually taken in at Mwani Orphanage. The now Bishop Morris Dimba was in charge. While at Mwani Orphanage, he was taught about the Bible and Jesus. When he was in his late teens, he began interning with the Christian ministers at Mwani Orphanage, and he would go with them to teach in other villages about the Bible and Jesus. He became a Christian minister himself. This was his profession in life, although his dream originally was to become a pilot. Due to poverty, that dream did not manifest. I am speaking about Kayasan Mancholo. He has seen life from both sides, as an orphan himself, and now as a married adult man with a big heart. He loves his people and wants very much to help disadvantaged, elderly, disabled, and many orphans in his community. Some months ago, he chose to move to a new area in Chikwawa district of Malawi, which is closer to the border of Mozambique. Kayasan felt a connection to this area. He tells me that although it is isolated, the area has good farmland and friendly people. The people in this area see and appreciate the work Kayasan is doing and are supportive of him bringing what meager supplies and help that they can provide. After being an orphan himself, he knows the thoughts that go through an orphan's mind. They feel inferior, unwanted, and unloved. Kayasan does not want the name orphanage in the title of the new place he is creating. The name he is contemplating calling the new home is a place for preparing for change, or home of preparing for change. There are many problems here. The personal stories of the orphans that come to Kayasan are heartbreaking, but they can be alleviated with our help. This area has no electricity, medical care, or hospitals. Right now, 2 of the orphans have malaria. Another big problem is there is no clean drinking water for the people, as the water is salty, even though they are a landlocked country. This is also not beneficial for growing crops. Most Malawians are farmers. Kayasan has acquired a parcel of land from the village headman, who aligns himself with Kayasan's vision of a community center where the orphan children can live and be educated, and the disabled and elderly can be fed and obtain needed care. I asked Kayasan in late January how many children he had under his care at that time. He told me 70. This is a man to a new community, and that had already had the title of the one who helps orphans. I asked him the same question this week. Kayasan told me the number is now about 250. Kayasan's family, starting with his wife Sarah, also has a heart for healing and helping the people and orphans. There are 3 children, 2 daughters. Mafatso is 14, Mary 11, and 1 son, Arthur, is 9 years old. All children are in school. School in Malawi is a privilege. Not all children go to school because education is a family expense. Those children without family are the street kids who have no home. There is no special programs in Malawi to take care of these children. Anything done for them comes from private donations and people that care. I am reaching out to you today with Kei-san's story because he needs a tremendous amount of help to provide for these less fortunate children and people. Would you please consider helping? This is not just Lynn's project or Prepare for Change's first humanitarian project. This is a project for the world's people to help the world's people. I am doing this because I know about this situation, and I want to do something to help these Malawian people. They are part of our human family. Please, let's help them. I am including Kei-san's mailing address here for those that would like to take this opportunity to help Kei-san directly. The name of his organization is Christian Alliance Ministry and All Churches Resource Center. P.O. Box 31, Chikwawa, Chikwawa, Malawi, Malawi, Central Africa. I am only a connector to give the opportunity to you to do some good in our world. As this project is not about me, I do not profess to know everything about Malawi. It is only with the help of the extended Prepare for Change global community that we have for several months been able to help feed people in Malawi. Next time you sit down to a nice, well-balanced meal, pleasing to all the senses, I ask you to think about the people of Malawi that have no food, that will not sit down and share a meal together. We can change this. It is going to take all of us to correct the wrongs in our world, but this is a small place to start. I ask you to please send Kei-san money to sustain the people until the larger humanitarian funding can help. Not only Malawi, but around the world, to all the places that have hunger, poverty, disease, and despair. Let's start with this community, please. I feel compelled to give credit here to some of the people that have been giving, sometimes small and sometimes large as they can, sometimes monthly to help Malawi. I give my sincere thanks and credit to some of these people. Jane from Ireland, Katsuko from Japan, Elvira from Romania, Raymond, Gail, Sophia, Danelle, Megan, and Dane from the United States, and also for those not mentioned here by name. If you want to continue to give through Prepare for Change, please use our new mailing address, Prepare for Change, 1441 Huntington, Huntington Drive, Suite 1110, South Pasadena, Pasadena, California, 91030. Please make checks payable to Prepare for Change. You may also use PayPal for this, but I caution that even though this is a donation for humanitarian reasons, PayPal's practice is to take 3% of the total money donated at all times. Thank you for your help. Hi, Cobra. Welcome to our March update. This is Lynn from Prepare for Change and Aaron on sound, and he'll be doing half of the questions. So we will start with current event questions and then migrate on to other things. As always, we have more than enough questions. We're going to get a little extra time with Cobra today, so hopefully we'll be able to get through more questions. Cobra, the first question I have is, will you please explain in detail to us the meaning of the success of the February 26th etheric liberation that we did for the Congo? It was a meditation, and you told us that it was quite successful. We reached critical mass. Is there any comments you can give me on this?
Actually, I have released a detailed report about this, and basically what we have achieved is that we have reached a critical mass that was needed to actually penetrate the veil and create a lasting change in the structure of the plasma plane around this planet. We have basically sealed the Congo anomaly, which is now in a process of extremely fast healing, and this has triggered a strong chain reaction in other vortexes throughout the planet, especially in the Syrian vortex, and there were immediate effects. 4 days after this, Palmyra was liberated. And there were many other effects. One of the most important effects was the strength of the negative forces have diminished greatly on the plasma plane around the planet since that time. They are losing that territory very fast.
Fantastic. I hope things improve significantly, especially for Africa.
They will, but of course on the physical plane this will take time, and especially after the event there will be more lasting changes on the physical plane.
Wonderful. That's really good news.
Hi Cobra, this is Aaron, and we'll start out with the first question. Corey Good says that he was told by the Spear Being Alliance that their job is the management and transfer of planetary populations. Is it possible that these beings are going to be in charge of the transfer and transportation of Earth's population at the time of the planetary reset, expected sometime after the event?
Okay, I cannot comment on Corey Good's intel, so you need to formulate this question a little bit differently.
Well, he goes on to say, I believe that this is the same event mentioned in the Bible as the rapture. Can you tell me a little bit about this, Cobra?
Actually, Bible has many hints on the event and the compression breakthrough, and this is the rapture is actually one of the later phases of the ascension process.
Okay, thank you.
So the ascension process is not an immediate event. It goes on for a period of time?
Yes, of course. The event, I have explained this so many times, the event is actually when the breakthrough happens, and this means disclosure, it means arrest of the cabal, and it means financial reset. The actual ascension process actually really starts at that time.
Great, thank you. Is part of the dark fleet that Corey Good mentioned that was left trapped inside our solar system when the so-called outer barrier that protects the solar system from anyone coming in or getting out still roaming in Antarctica, their bases on the moon, and orbiting our solar system?
Basically what Corey terms dark fleet is still active to a certain degree on Antarctica, and this will be changed very soon.
Okay, thank you.
On Facebook post by Corey Good dated March 12th, 2017, Corey says the following. It is obvious that the data dumps have begun. We will not get the full data dumps as the SSP Alliance was pushing for. It is turning out to be more of a strategic cluster of data dumps. We expect it to be a tit-for-tat document release war in the beginning. The Cabal was most likely release a batch of data against certain member groups of the Earth Alliance next. Both sides will attempt to discredit the sources that present data against them, which will further confuse the public. Is this true, Cobra?
This is true now to a certain degree, but will not be true after the event. The event actually means full disclosure without any compromise or any hidden agendas.
Are we going to get a partial disclosure?
We are not going to get a partial disclosure. We are going to get a full disclosure. That's not an option even. It's not subject of discussion. So I will repeat again. We will get full disclosure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. It is said that there is a planet called Vulcan, which is currently not visible to us. This first density planet seems to be closer than Mercury to the Sun. What do you know about this planet, and if it exists, why has it been kept secret from us, and for what purpose?
It is a theoretical planet that some astronomers proposed it exists, but actually does not exist.
Okay, thank you.
Next question. Some scientists said that the Montauk Project Foundation was derived from a deep and occult, hardcore satanic practices and rituals. Is this true, Cobra?
To a certain degree, yes.
Will you describe what is the Montauk Project's main purpose, the damage caused by it in our society, the consequences of it, and the plans of the light forces to heal its millions of victims?
Okay, basically the purpose of this project was to play with the timelines. They wanted to get control of the various timelines. They were not successful, but as a result of their experimentation, there was a certain amount of primary anomaly which was then more, I would say, more prominent on the surface of the planet, and this is already taken care of. So that's not a problem anymore. The only problem remaining is the victims of that program, which are still in need of healing, and that will happen after the event.
Thank you, Cobra.
Next question. I found the following statement, and I'd like you to tell me what you know about this. The statement starts by saying, do you really think that getting pure marijuana or clean marijuana? Think again. This is marijuana, especially the legal medical grade, which is cataloged in Quantico, Virginia at the FBI, implanted and shipped. Nanotech. It's all GMO, nanite compatible, very tiny computer systems. Same as with all smokes, vape, junk foods, etc. And he is asking, is this true?
Yes, it's true.
Wow. Okay.
Cobra, the next question is from the same author as the previous question. It is all a show. The U.S. government collects over $3 trillion in electric bills in the big cities every month. There is no such thing as a deficit. They make hundreds of times the amount of money that is needed just by taxing the people. They come up with ways to waste and produce a deficit mindset. They make the money to begin with, and then they print it out of thin air. There is zero-point energy in replicator devices, so that if they can manufacture, and they do, all the materials, tools, crafts, etc., that they need, while people are basically stuck down here. It's all a show. All the bills are prepaid. We need to take back our straw man. This is what I was told by members of the elite. They said it's all on account. The rest is a deception, a joke, and they are getting away with it, and they plan to end the civilization and flee to another environment. Can you comment on this, Cobra?
This is quite a nice description of what is happening right now on the planet, and it's good that people are awakening to this reality, and of course we are going to change that. It is not going to happen.
Okay, thank you.
Next question. We were told on Monday, March 20th, 2017, that David Rockefeller died earlier that day in his estate in New York City. If this is true, his death would have been coincided with the March equinox. Can you tell us if he truly died at this time, or was it a fake death delivered to the public to accomplish something?
It was a true death. He really died, and he is not in a cloned body, so he is truly and really dead.
Okay, and do you know if this was well, you just said it was a natural death, and he wasn't taken out by light forces, right?
I would say that he died as a consequence of his fear after being exposed to certain operations of the light forces.
Okay, and can you tell us any more about the departure of David Rockefeller and how it affects the plans of the cabal?
Okay, I think I will speak about this in my next blog update.
Okay, thank you.
Great. It is also reported that in June 2014, David's son, Dr. Richard Rockefeller, died in a plane crash near his father's estate. But Ben Fulford wrote a while back that Richard Rockefeller faked his death, and in truth he fled to an underground base in South America. Can you fill us in on what you know about Rockefeller?
So you're now speaking about the son?
Yes.
Yes, he actually went to that base, but he's no longer there. He has been captured.
Okay, great. Thank you.
A number of stunning investigative reports about past and ongoing covert activity in Antarctica has been presented to date. The questioner asks you to sum up any of the intelligence information you can confirm or deny about the validity of these remarkable reports. Please include anything else important to know about this activity in your answer and review.
Okay, I would say that too much focus is now put upon Antarctica. It is not the main exopolitical issue right now on this planet, but simply one of the places where things are happening, and Antarctica is not Atlantis, I need to say that. Antarctica does have many ancient ruins that have been discovered, as well as some other places around the planet, and all those places will be revealed after the event. The Cabal will not be able to use those discoveries to divert attention from their crimes. That's not going to happen.
And lastly, is the resistance movement working in some manner with Antarctica?
Yes, they are having very intense operations there right now.
Okay, thank you.
There was a claim at the end of February that there was radiation contaminating Antarctica as well as parts of Europe and North America due to a submarine explosion. There was news floating around about special forces evacuating civilians from Antarctica for this reason. Can you tell us about this, Cobra?
There was limited radioactivity as a result of this nuclear submarine incident, but it was not something that was overly it was contained. It was not very dangerous. And the evacuation of civilian personnel was not related to that. It was related to, I would say, the proxy war that is happening right on Antarctica between the Draco forces and the Galactic Confederation.
So, possibly there wasn't an evacuation for this reason?
There was an evacuation not because of radioactivity, but because of that war.
Okay, thank you. Is it true that lightning is the best way to get rid of excess radiation in our environment?
No.
Okay.
Okay, do you know the real reason why General Michael Flynn resigned from his U.S. National Security Advisor position?
I would say there is a very strong infighting between various factions right now. I would call that Clinton Rockefeller faction and the Trump Jesuit faction. And this infighting is resulting in many resignations and changes in administration, and it is not something that is so important as many people think, because those people who are really pulling the strings behind the scenes are not visible. They are not in the media. They are not exposing themselves. They are just putting certain people as frontmen to carry out their agenda.
Thank you, Cobra.
An article came out recently claiming that Norman Brokaw, the chief executive of the William Morris Agency and Mr. Bill Cosby's personal agent for 30 years, confirmed that he had discussed with Mr. Cosby his intention of making an offer for NBC with Robert C. Wright, but the network's president, Illuminati leader who controls NBC, would lose power of the television company if Bill Cosby purchased it. The only way to stop the purchase was to ruin Bill Cosby. They started with fake rape allegations. Do you know about this claim, Cobra? Is it true, or is this a diversion from the truth?
Actually, yes, there were allegations. They were not based on truth, but it is true that there are certain things that have not been yet revealed about his situation that are based on reality. So I would say the reality was twisted, but there is still some truth behind it.
Okay, thank you.
Since Bitcoin is a digital currency, then like anything digital, it can be hacked and tampered with. Is Bitcoin as safe and foolproof as it is being advertised, or is it just another Trojan horse attempt of the dark force to get rid of the physical currencies so they have total and absolute control over our money?
Okay, Bitcoin will not become the globalist currency of the future. It is safe to a certain degree, and if you want to play with it, it's quite okay. But I would not put most of your savings into Bitcoin.
Thank you.
Satoshi Nakamoto was the creator of Bitcoin. You have stated that Bitcoin is a step into the new system. Is Nakamoto working with the light forces?
Not directly, but indirectly, yes.
Is the Bitcoin system from another planet?
No.
How can Bitcoin not be compromised simply by artificial intelligence or computer hacking?
Artificial intelligence is not as powerful as people are afraid of, because human mind is always stronger, because human mind, coupled with connection with the source, can outmaneuver all actions of artificial intelligence.
Okay, thank you.
Isn't silver or gold better and safer and more secure type of investment?
Safer than what?
Than Bitcoin.
Yes.
Okay, and who is really behind Bitcoin? The Jesuits with their cashless society or the Positive Alliance?
The Positive Alliance, indirectly.
Okay, thank you.
If the cabal has underground, highly technological advanced bases and their spaceships have advanced technology such as replicators, what is stopping them from just pressing a button and just creating all the gold and precious metals they need to keep their current failing financial system going indefinitely?
Okay, the vast majority of the cabal does not have access to those advanced technologies. There is a very small, limited group that has access to this, and they are not giving this to the rest of the cabal.
That's good. Okay, Cobra, we're going to take a little break here. We invite you to get involved with Prepare for Change. Our membership drive has begun. Go to our website at www.prepareforchange.net and look to the right-hand column. Scroll down slightly, just below the radio shows play widget. There is a box where you can sign up for our newsletter, which comes out periodically to alert you to the latest posts and news stories. We do not share your mailing addresses with anyone, and you are free to unsubscribe at any time at your discretion. Please know that we have articles written by members of Prepare for Change, as well as other stories of interest that are not necessarily the opinion of the Prepare for Change organization or the members. These stories are shared for your information and discretion. As you become familiar with our website, you will find other areas of interest of how you can become involved. Check out the Participate tab in the drop-down menu that will tell you of the great programs that we have already started and that you can begin in your area. We are here to help you and always welcome your comments. Some of the various activities are weekly event meditation each Sunday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time to hasten the event, becoming a member of Sisterhood of the Rose, joining or starting an event support group. Please remember that Prepare for Change exists only because you are supporting this website by your donations. Please use the PayPal donation section in the right-hand column of the website, just under the weekly event meditation. Checks can also be sent to our new mailing address at 1441 Huntington Drive, Suite 1110, South Pasadena, California 91030.
Next question is, how near complete destruction is the Yaldabaoth?
I would say much near there any time in the past. I would say that the tentacles or the plasma filaments of that entity have been removed completely, and the hat is in the beginning stages of its dissolution.
Are there any bombs of any kind impeding our progress towards the event currently?
Yes, of course, there are still top-lead bombs, and they will be here until the event. That's the main reason the event does not happen. When the toplet bombs are gone, the event will be triggered.
Okay, and can you comment on what, if anything, we can expect in the way of obstacles yet to overcome?
As I have said, the plan is to remove the remaining plasma anomaly and toplet bombs that are associated with this and then trigger the event. So this is basically the plan and it's being carried out.
Okay, thank you.
Now that Yaldabaoth and the toplet bombs are limited to the Earth's surface, since the successful etheric liberation meditation, what is our best strategy for continuing to dissolve the head of Yaldabaoth?
The best strategy is to put Sintamani stones in strategic positions, not only on the land masses but also in the oceans far away from the coast.
Does that have any effect on the radiation in the ocean?
There is not as much radiation in the ocean as most people are misinformed.
Okay.
How can we create an ascension column to work with the Galactic Confederation around us to clear the primary anomaly and help with the dissolving of the head of Yaldabaoth?
Okay, I will be also speaking about this in detail in one of my future posts. I cannot answer this question in a minute because it's a little bit more complex. I need to explain this in detail in writing.
All right.
In the Russian interview, you recently answered that there is no longer any remaining deep underground military bases in Russia. Can that be said for the rest of the world? And if not, what countries still have bases yet to clear?
Okay, most bases that belong to the Cabal are in the countries associated with the Cabal traditionally. So that's United States, that's Israel, that's Saudi Arabia, to a certain degree also United Kingdom, Turkey, Japan. But most other countries are quite free of this at this moment.
Okay, thank you, Cobra.
In your recent Russian interview, you said that the Earth is a maximum security prison with archons and chimera as prison wardens and definitely not a school. We have always been told that Earth is a school and we can progress to a higher level of existence or go to heaven if we do what we need to do here. Can you comment on this? And is there any truth to progressing to a higher level as in ascension?
It is true that you can progress to a higher level by working on your spiritual evolvement, but it does not mean that Earth is a school that teaches you how to evolve to a higher level. The purpose of Archons was not to assist us in spiritual evolution. They wanted to block us from spiritual evolution, and when you progress despite the programming that exists here. And when you raise your perspective and consciousness beyond the scope and the limitations of the quarantine, then you are really progressing spiritually.
All right, thank you.
I have a question on Syria. Is there anything that you want to comment on that's in addition to what you've already said about the post-liberation meditation that was successful?
I can only say that operations are progressing and the Syria vortex will be liberated in I would say, relatively near future.
Great.
Several reports from reliable sources in both Japan and the west coast of the U.S. claim that high rates of radiation from the still unchecked multiple Fukushima reactor meltdowns have been detected, with some readings exceeding levels considered lethal. This information is in direct conflict with Cobra's answer to someone who raised concerns about this reactor radiation in the last PFC question session. In essence, Cobra's answers indicated that Fukushima's radiation is not a significant problem. This individual is asking Cobra if he has any additional information or comments that would help alleviate his concern about these high levels of radiation being detected. Keep in mind that there are limits to technology. Do exotic quantum-based technologies exist which can neutralize serious radiation problems?
As I have said many times, there is no excessive radiation coming from Fukushima that goes beyond the very limited area beyond the reactor itself. So I would say if you are living more than 10 or 20 miles away from the reactor, you're safe. And everything else is just disinformation. I have contact with people who were making exact measurements with Geiger counters, and they were not detecting excessive radiation quite close to Fukushima.
Did the galactics have anything to do with lessening the radiation?
They are doing that in many cases, not just in Fukushima case. There were many more serious nuclear disasters in the past, and they were localized because the galactic forces have prevented the radiation from spilling too far.
Thank you, Cobra.
In your recent post from November 28, 2013, you mentioned the following. Currently, the Jesuits are the main operational task force for the Archons to maintain the quarantine status for planet Earth. Their previous superior general, Hans-Peter Kalvenbach, is instrumental in keeping the fear vibration among humanity on the surface of the planet. It has been reported in the news that Kalvenbach died on November 26, 2016 in Beirut. According to your sources, he is actually dead. If he is dead, what does that mean for disclosures and justice in regards to 9/11 and 3/11 attacks?
It means that one of the major perpetrators of this have died, or shall I say have been removed from the planet, but he was not the only one, and he is not the only one who was preventing the truth about this to come out. There was actually a whole group, and this group has not been removed yet, but each of them that has been removed does make the situation easier, and this is one of the reasons why we have so many releases about various topics that were not happening before.
Great, thank you, Cobra.
Cobra, what are your thoughts on NESARA? Can you give us an update about NESARA?
There is no update. It is simply related to the global financial reset, and this will happen at the time of the event.
And is there a connection between Enki, and Saint Germain?
No.
Thank you.
Obama recently departed for Tahiti without Michelle and his daughters. What is he doing there?
He is having his personal time there, so nothing of planetary importance, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
Are you aware of people who are involved in the pedophile network being arrested around the world?
Yes, I would say that many of those people are being arrested, but not the top people yet. I would say the mid-level management of that network is being arrested in many countries right now and is being exposed through alternative media and also to a certain extent through the mainstream mass media.
Okay, do you anticipate that child trafficking and pedophilia will emerge soon into the public consciousness?
Yes, it's part of the disclosure process, and this is already emerging in certain locations around the world, and it will continue to emerge until it becomes undeniable. So people will not be able to deny this any longer very soon. I will say quite soon.
Okay, thank you.
David Wilcock and Corey Good have recently revealed information about the discoveries in the Antarctic of people they are calling pre-Adamites. These are people originally from Mars who came here over 50,000 years ago. They are saying there are still some pre-Adamites living in the Vatican who hide their elongated skulls under the tall Vatican hats. Corey and David have been revealing astounding information about what is in Antarctica, including 3 very large crashed ancient spaceships, a community of people living in one of them, very tall humans who have been in stasis for thousands of years who may wake up soon. Can you confirm if all of this is true?
Parts of these are true, especially part about the Vatican. But I would say for other claims there needs to be more evidence, not just stories. I would expect to have more solid evidence about the deeper aspects of this Antarctica story. It is true that Ruins have been found there, but those details I was not able to confirm from my sources that the rest of the story they are talking about is true.
Does that include the giants in stasis?
It is true that there are giants in stasis in many locations around the world, so I can confirm that.
Okay, thank you.
It appears that the recent Dutch election where Geert Wilders lost perhaps was manipulated. Can you tell us if he actually won the popular vote? What is the significance of the loss of Geert Wilders?
Not much because, as I have said many times before, the political structure before the event will not be able to trigger drastic changes because no matter who gets elected, the network behind is still pulling the strings.
And do you know if he won by popular vote?
I do not have that information.
Okay, thank you, Cobra.
In reference to Benjamin Fulford's recent weekly message on Monday, March 20th, we have a few questions as follows. Actually, these are statements and then there's a question. The United States Corporation of 1861 has been replaced by the Republic of the United States of America, founded in 1776. The government did not shut down on March 15th when the 20 trillion debt limit was reached because the debt belongs to the corporation, not the republic. The corporation has been declared bankrupt and the debt is null and void. Cobra, is this true, and do you see anything happening in the near future financially for the United States Republic and the presidency?
Okay, I cannot confirm that the republic has been reinstated. When the republic will be reinstated, there will be drastic and immediate changes visible to everybody living in the United States. It will not be just a theoretical concept. It will be a practical, very solid and very drastic announcement that will go through the mass media, not just through some obscure alternative websites. So I would say that this part is not true. With regards to national debt, there are always some manipulations behind the scene that always miraculously solve the situation until the next crisis comes, simply because the cabal is still controlling the financial system and they can do whatever they want with those numbers.
Very true.
Was it a coincidence that the announcement of the death of David Rockefeller happened during this time?
It is definitely and absolutely not a coincidence, and I will be speaking more about this in my next blog post.
Ben goes on to say that Trump also refused to take a bribe offered by German Chancellor Angela Merkel last week not to go after Rothschild flunkies like John McCain and Hillary Clinton. His sources say that's what's behind Trump's public refusal to shake Merkel's hand. Based on this, is Merkel just following orders from her Rothschild cabal handlers?
Yes.
Also, South American drug barons have been using their dollars to buy Iraqi dinars as a way to launder their money. However, since the Clinton-Bush faction lost the U.S. election, these dinar will never likely become a usable currency. Cobra, do you foresee the dinar as ever being a usable currency?
Okay, it is not as drastic as Ben has said, but I would not speculate in a drastic increase of value of that currency. So I would stay away from any transactions including the Iraqi dinar.
And what about the African zim?
The same.
Okay, great, thank you. And next question. And finally, Asian Secret Society and the White Dragon Society sources agree, though, that since years of the drug war failed to do anything to eradicate the $2 to $3 trillion illegal drug business, the long-term solution is still going to be to legalize and regulate narcotic substances so as to minimize the damage they cause and keep the money out of the hands of the crime gangs. Cobra, based upon the above statement, do you foresee the legalization of drugs in the near or distant future?
It is already happening with marijuana in certain states and in certain countries around the world, so it's the beginning of that trend. And as the cabal is losing power, of course, they will not be able to stop this. War against drugs was just a ruse that the cabal used to actually fuel more money and channel more money through the drug business.
All right, thank you.
We'll take a little break here, Cobra. The Cobra Questions area of the website is under tab Cobra/RM. Please submit your questions there, as this is the site where I gather the questions for our interviews. Relevant questions include current events, subjects not previously discussed, and topics that can serve as a learning experience for all. Please refrain from asking personal questions of Cobra, opinions regarding other people or their work, videos, or books, as Cobra cannot review everything on the internet, and they will not be included. Okay, we're back. We're going to start this section with some spiritually related questions. When moving from 3D to 5D, is it similar in concept to how we change the stations of our radio from AM to FM, or changing the channels of a television? Can you clarify, is it significantly different?
Okay, that's a good analogy that we can use to understand the shifting of vibrational frequency.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, asked another way, is it true that angelic humans were created in the angelic realms, then descended into lower realms such as third-dimensional Earth, while true Earth humans began their soul evolution in the densest vibrations of the Earth and are in the process of ascending upwards?
It is very true, yes.
Okay, thank you. Can twin flames incarnate into the same sex?
It is possible.
Okay.
In a recent transcribed interview, you mentioned a meditation that you do during which you connect with your core star higher self and use it to rejuvenate and regenerate your body. Is there any more you can share with us about this meditation?
Not at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Can you talk about the Big Bang and how the universe was created? Was the initial God source, prime source, a perfect being of light that manifested the expansion of the thought, what if I expand myself? And can you correct any of the misunderstandings of this idea?
Basically what happened was that universe was created as a result of interaction between the source and the primary anomaly. So both things were involved in the creation of the universe, in the Big Bang.
Okay. What is the difference between ascension and enlightenment? Can enlightenment be also called self-realization?
Enlightenment is just a moment when your personality gets into contact with the truth, while ascension is the completion of the complete transformation of your personality into that truth.
All right. Thank you.
I have a question about meditation. When I randomly choose to meditate, I can reach a very still point with no thoughts or very few thoughts in a 2 to 3 hour period. When I try to meditate regularly, I cannot reach any point of stillness in my mind. In other words, I try to be regular about it, but I feel perhaps I am being sabotaged. In regular practice, is regular practice harder to do than random occasional practice?
Okay, if you're doing things regular, you cannot expect the same results all the time. If you do it just when you're inspired, you can get more results in the short term, but less results in the long term, so it's up to you.
Can you recommend anything to make this process easier?
Basically, your focus needs to be in connecting your higher self, and then it will be easier for you to go through the whole process.
Okay, thank you.
Are you aware of the Russian geologist who is in the Krasnoyarsk region near Samara, where after a 5-hour meditation he contacted 3 civilizations? One was the Vishnu civilization, There he saw Shiva, who told him secret information regarding the history of the planet. Do you know anything about this Russian geologist or this Krasnoyarsk region, and what information might be have been given to the scientist?
Krasnoyarsk area is a very powerful vortex when a lot of contact has happened in the past to many people, not just to that particular individual. So this is just one of the contactees that had experiences in that area.
Is it anywhere near Shambhala?
It is not near the main entrances to that particular location.
Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." So if I focus on my inner journey and do my best to evolve in love, peace, and harmony, do I need to stay aware of the dark side, such as the Chimera group and the Dracos? To what extent does it help us to focus on what we want to create in our lives for the planet?
Okay, basically the best thing to do is to have your vision, to hold that vision, to be aware of what's going on, but not to be overly obsessed about it.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any specific meditation techniques that may help us create the financial abundance, prosperity, and well-being we need while dealing with our daily challenges?
Yes, there are many techniques, but they are not. It's not possible to explain them in a few minutes through an interview. You have to come to a conference where those things are explained in details over a course of a day.
Okay, and he would like to know, do you have any specific meditation techniques that may help us defend ourselves from current attacks on light workers?
I have released some of those techniques already in my blog.
Okay, thank you.
What is the silver cord, and is it anchored within the pineal gland?
It is simply a connection between the physical body and higher dimensional bodies, and it is anchored in the electromagnetic field between the pineal and pituitary gland.
Thank you.
This is probably a repetition here. Why is it important to activate the pineal gland, and how can we activate our pineal glands?
It is important to activate it because it is our multidimensional bridge to the higher dimensions. And there are techniques to activate it, but again, it's not within the scope of a short interview to explain them.
Okay, thank you.
What are the steps of the manifestation process for light workers?
The steps for manifestation process are the same for everybody, and there are 3 steps. Step number 1 is decision. Step number 2 is invocation. Step number 3 is action. And of course, I cannot explain this in detail in a few short minutes. This is a scope of this is too huge. It would take a few hours to explain that in details.
Thank you, Cobra.
What is the reason some of the things we try to manifest don't actually happen?
It is because we are not insisting long enough for them to happen. In current reality, it takes a certain amount of time to manifest anything, and for certain things it can take quite much of a time because we are working against the current.
Okay.
How can we call upon our I Am presence to strengthen our manifestations?
Just invoke your I Am presence and connect with it in any way it works for you.
Why are so many light workers getting attacked lately, and what can we do about this?
There was a huge wave of attacks in the last 2 months because the dark forces are beginning to lose the control on the plasma plane around the surface of this planet, and they are simply freaking out completely as a result of this. This situation is now slowly, and I would say very slowly, being resolved.
Okay, thank you.
How do imprints in the plasma body form our thoughts and emotions manifest into our physical situation?
Okay, those imprints do not form our thoughts and emotions, but our emotions and thoughts generate certain response within the plasma plane, and then the skill and technology of the Chimera group manipulates that, and then all this gets manifested.
Okay, thank you. We'll take a short break here, Cobra. As a first in the history of Prepare for Change, we will have a presence at an event characterized by being called the Woodstock of UFOs. Contact in the Desert will have all the great speakers whose books, videos, and television shows are widely viewed and read by many in our community. This will be held in Joshua Tree, California, May 19th to 22nd. As part of our membership drive to familiarize more people with the conceptual goals of Prepare for Change, we will have a presence there to tell attendees about our work, articles, and activities on our website. This is an expense for us. Remember to support Prepare for Change by check or PayPal. Thank you. Okay, our next questions involve consciousness.
Cobra previously mentioned the Cabal cannot read high-frequency thoughts. Cobra, could you define high-frequency thoughts and provide an example of one?
It is simply thoughts that are not based on third-dimensional reality but are illuminated with the mind, with the light of the higher dimensions. Any kind of thought that inspires you is an example of this.
Okay.
Cobra, are you familiar with Feng Shui?
Yes.
Can you elaborate on how Feng Shui affects our lives and if there are specific arrangements with objects that can be established relative to the stars that will have a positive effect?
Basically, this relates to sacred geometry and connection with various star systems, and there is a whole science to this, part of which has been released and revealed through traditional Chinese sources, but there is a much deeper science behind this that is much older and is part of the galactic science of sacred geometry.
Thank you. Can you also clarify the importance of the various rooms in the house in Feng Shui?
Again, this is also related to a very ancient science which was brought to Earth in times of Atlantis and is distantly related to astrology and astrological houses.
Okay, thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about star seeds, especially about the rare new star seeds here on Earth, who have been recycling in and out of Earth for 25,000 years? Which planets are they from? Do they have special abilities? That is, how is the new star seed identified? Which planets are they from?
From many star systems, the vast majority from Pleiades, Sirius, certain star systems from the Andromeda Galaxy, some of them are Arcturians, and many other star systems as well.
Does one location on the Earth have more of them than other locations?
Yes, some locations have a higher concentration because they tend to incarnate in soul groups.
Are more incarnating now in 2017 with our recent progress in clearing the Yaldabaoth entity and cleaning up the plasma plane?
I would say a little bit more, but not significantly more.
Okay, thank you.
Cobra, do any of these star seeds incarnate into bodies like as a walk-in?
Very rarely.
Okay. The next question is, what is the choice you made, Cobra, that enabled you to maintain your memory of past lives?
I simply made a choice not to forget no matter what.
This person goes on to say, you have said that in the past you were given choices to make. Was there any particular choices, or this just was the choice?
There were many choices involved, and I cannot speak about many of them.
Okay. Is it possible for us to make choices now in our lives that would enable us to remember our past lives?
Yes, of course.
So we can just ask and the appropriate information will be given to us?
If you research long enough, you will find.
Okay. How many others on the planet are remembering their past lives? Do you have any idea?
There are many people who are remembering fragments, but very few people that are remembering their whole story, I would say.
Thank you.
Cobra, are you aware of planning your current incarnation? Can you talk about this?
Yes, I remember that. Actually, I was planning my current incarnation with my soul group, but things did not work out as they have been planned because simply most people from that soul group did not honor their agreements, and the plans were not carried out.
Okay. If you planned your current incarnation, were you able to remember your past lives after the 1996 Archon
Yes, of
invasion?
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
And did that Archon invasion make things more difficult for you to remember?
Not more difficult to remember, but more difficult to maintain a certain level of vibrational frequency.
I see. Thank you.
Where are souls now going after death who have completed their incarnations and all their lifetimes on Earth?
Those souls who are really having the extremely high vibrational frequency can exit now the quarantine and go through their ascension process in some other locations.
And this person goes on to ask, how many lifetimes are people having in general?
Most people have hundreds upon hundreds of lifetimes.
Okay, thank you.
What does a soul look like, and can we see it in our mind's eye, or is there a way of looking at it?
I would describe the soul as a point of light, as a being of light.
And is it visible?
It is visible with your inner eye, with your higher dimensional organ of perception.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a few questions on technology. Cobra, would you recommend placing a Sintamani stone inside of orgonite?
No.
Okay, it says, he goes on to ask, would this increase or decrease its effectiveness?
It would decrease it.
Okay.
You mentioned the Chimera's secret use of infra and ultrasound technologies to control humanity. Is there any effort underway to defeat this?
Yes, the number one is to spread awareness of this, because if enough people are aware of this, they will not be able to do this any longer.
Okay.
Is gravity derived from the mass of an object, or does it come from the magnetic property of the sun?
I would say indirectly it derives from the mass of the object, but more precisely it is the intensity of the etheric flow which creates physical atoms that then cause the mass of the object.
How does SSP and extraterrestrials create artificial gravity in their ships?
Simply by disengaging the atoms from the physical plane and keeping them in the, I would say, a suspension in a certain way that allows them to be disengaged from the gravitational force.
Cobra, you told Patrick from PFC Taiwan that there was a submerged underwater bridge between India and Sri Lanka. Could you tell us who built the bridge and why was the bridge built?
It was part of the landmass before it was submerged. It was submerged at the end of the Ice Age. But before it was just a natural land bridge, which was part of the civilization that was existing there at that time.
Cobra, can I trust Apple more than Google? Or are all big tech companies compromised to the same degree?
They are both quite much compromised, so I would not trust Apple over Google.
Okay. Are there any tech companies that are better than others as far as privacy?
Yes, there are.
Any you can name?
Not at this point.
Okay.
Cobra, you have spoken about the introduction of a technology called replicators, which can be programmed to materialize many different things, including food. What does the Resistance see as responsible use of this technology?
Irresponsible use of that technology is not possible because all replicators have a safety mechanism which prevents irresponsible use.
So if somebody's hungry, they can manifest food, no problem.
Exactly.
Some sources say by the end of September, Poland will have free energy and anti-gravitation for masses. Also, full independence from matrix owners. And this is the decision of higher beings. Can you tell us more about this, Cobra?
Okay, this is just a speculation of a certain group, and I was not able to confirm this.
Okay.
Okay, this is about the event. Is the Schumann resonance a useful indicator of our progress and readiness for the event?
No.
Okay.
Is there an increase or a decrease in the Schumann resonance within the last 100 years?
Okay, the basic Schumann resonance stays the same, but there are, I would say, quite drastic oscillations happening lately.
Is the fluctuation a positive thing or a negative thing?
It is simply an indication that something quite intense is happening in the plasma, and it can be both. What is happening very lately is a positive thing because the light forces are clearing the negative plasma.
Okay. Cobra, can you tell us if your post from January 31st, 2014, EOSTRES, Estre's gift, is referencing the wave of energy we are currently getting?
Not to the energy wave we are currently getting, but to the energy waves which are already in progress and will continue to come in the future.
Can you talk about the waves of energy we have received in the middle of December, or since the middle of December?
There have been waves of energy not just in that time period, but in many time periods. So it is not that particular time frame is not extremely significant. I am still awaiting for the really significant energy waves coming in the near future.
Okay, thank you.
For those of us who feel we have not met our soulmates, will we meet our soulmates after the event?
In most cases, yes.
All right.
Can you expect to see an increase in lifespan to 120 years and more after the event?
Yes.
Okay, there are lots of separate groups and individuals trying to create positive change with meditation, but these are separate efforts and happen at different times. Since it has been demonstrated that combined group meditation does create larger effect, is there a way of linking or combining the efforts of each group, even though they are meditating at different times, to increase the field effect or the Maharishi effect?
It is very important that all groups meditate at the same time with the same purpose to create a powerful Maharishi effect. So if there is a way to unite all those groups, I would be very interested.
Okay.
Will people heavily controlled by the matrix and living in the lower spiritual level want changes for the better after the event?
In most people, yes.
You said in an interview that after the event, humanity will have to put as much effort and energy into maintaining our physical body. Does this imply that we will be eating less? If not, what exactly does this imply?
Yes, we will also be eating less.
Oh, okay.
Is a black hole simply one opening of a torus?
Yes, that's a very good description.
This one involves the solar system. Were any of the souls placed in Earth human bodies from catastrophes that made Mars uninhabitable?
Yes, but very small, I would say very small fraction.
And can you tell us more about this? Where did the souls from Mars catastrophe go if they didn't come to Earth?
Most of them were evacuated to other star systems and are now far advanced in their involvement and are not related to this planetary situation.
Okay.
What are the protocols for reversing the entropy of the mitochondria?
Okay, those protocols are quite complex. And again, it's not possible to explain this in a few short minutes.
Okay.
What are the protocols to raising your vibration high enough to perform telekinesis and biokinesis?
Okay, this is only possible after the ascension itself.
Okay.
Can you clarify the importance of specific Western astrological variables such as Chiron, the North Node, and how they should be considered in making important decisions in our life path?
Okay, you have just named two of the many points in a horoscope. There are many points they are not the only ones that need to be considered. So we have the sun, the moon, the main planets, we have the Chiron, we have other asteroids, we have the fixed stars, we have the lunar nodes, and many other points that need to be considered to have the whole picture. So I would not just focus on Chiron and lunar nodes to determine any particular situation. I would actually take into account all of those, their aspects, their progressions, transits, their interaction with houses, and other approaches in Western astrology. So it needs to be seen as a complex picture and not taken out of context.
Okay.
What is the significance of the astrological birth chart or zodiac?
Actually, that's a blueprint which determines to a certain degree what are the stellar influences influencing your life, and of course you can always with your free will raise above that.
Okay, is the astrological birth chart different for each lifetime, and if so, why?
Yes, of course, because you are living in a different body with different circumstances.
Okay.
Can you clarify, elaborate on why astrological birth charts differ and how significant those birth charts are?
They are different because people are born in different moments, and in the moment you are born, there is a certain energy flash that goes through the physical body, and the birth chart is, I would say, a map of that particular moment.
Very good. Is there a relationship between the sign Scorpio and the higher heart? In that sense, what does Scorpio signify?
No.
Okay, transformation, creation, goddess energy?
That is a possible description, but it's not a very good one.
Okay, thank you, Cobra. That's it for the astrology.
Okay.
Cobra, can you tell us a little bit about the Tehran conference that you had last weekend?
Okay, so what is the question about the conference?
Is there anything that you can tell us about it? How was it successful?
Yes, of course it was very successful. We had a very strong group. We have initialized certain projects, and all this will be, we have actually started a cycle of manifestation for those certain projects. And we were all actually also speaking a lot about manifestation process itself. We went quite deep into this because when people understand this, many things are possible. And this was one of the focuses that we had. For people to be able to understand how to manifest, and we were then using this practically in manifesting certain very specific things.
Do you have any closing comments for us, Cobra?
I would say that we are living in a very key time in human history right now, and we just need to keep pushing, keep manifesting the victory of the light for the planet.
Well, I sincerely appreciate you meeting with us. We're going to be trying to do this every 4 weeks now instead of every 5 or 6. So we look forward to more information coming forth from you, and we certainly have lots more questions and lots more areas to cover. So thank you very much, Cobra.
Okay, thank you very much, and victory of the light.
In closing, I would like to thank the whole team that has made this interview possible. Cobra for being a gracious guest. His website is 2012portal.blogspot.com. Aaron, my interview partner, sound and editing technician. Dove for our theme song, Voices of the World. Danelle for her transcription expertise. Cobra Questions team of Sean, Megan, Robert, Kiko, and Jocelyn for their organizational help, Untwine for modulation, Eduardo and Dane behind the scenes, and all our wonderful listeners. And remember always that we are all voices of the world.
Please like us and share with your social media. Please subscribe and click the bell to be notified of our new videos.
Remember to check out our playlist for important intel you may have missed.
Be sure to enter our subscriber appreciation $100 monthly giveaway. The link is in our description.
And visit our sister channel. The event is coming soon for additional intel and information.
Stay tuned.
Victory of the light.
Event is coming soon. YouTube channel.